Hey everybody, welcome to LezPod. This is Alex and I am here with Chef Josie. You are here, my friends, because you believe in the LGBT community and the importance of sharing our individual stories to help one another, okay? Our goal with this show is to introduce you to people and ideas that are going to help you actually execute on your dreams and in the midst of learning how to believe in yourself, okay? Now, I'm here to introduce you to remarkable people who have helped shift the world in the LGBT community. Help me welcome Chef Josie.
Oh, yeah. Woo, woo! Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me, Alex. You know,
Absolutely.
I like what you're doing here and putting a little flashlight on the things that are actually working in the world, right? And maybe shifting the focus off of the things that
I want to know about what's going on. You know, basically, you've done so much for the community. From, you know, just recently being candidate for mayor,
Yeah.
which is a big deal. That's like very courageous.
Thank
to
you.
To helping out the community and opening up a restaurant with your wife 6 years ago. That's a huge deal. A very successful restaurant that's delicious. And you know, you mentor the youth. You know, you do gratitude trainings. You have done so much. You are a chef. You've been on Top Chef for 4 seasons. That's a huge deal. And at the end of the day, you know, it seems like your goal is to help and empower people, and that's exactly what I want on this show. So thank you for being a part of this. Tell me a little bit about what it was to grow up as Chef Josie.
That was fun. Okay, so that was hey, let's segue right into that, right? Thank you, Alex, for that. You know, yeah, you know, it's not a secret, right? I'm a busy woman. I like to stay busy. It's not just about being busy, though, right? I don't consider it busy. I consider it like living my life. And so, like, everything I'm doing is because I am living a unapologetic, unregrettable life. You know, and the part of living is like actually doing things. It's like living, you know. I guess you can also just sit, you know, like we're sitting here and we're living right now, but it's about the experiences, right? So as a young Josie, you could just imagine that I was a very special kid. I think my family kind of knew what they were getting into early on in this relationship, you know, I'm grateful. I grew up down here in South Florida. I grew up in Hialeah, and I went to Milam Elementary in the heart of West Hialeah, like right next to Westland Mall.
Nice.
I went to you know, a special arts school called North Center for the Arts through my like junior high and high school years, and then finished and graduated from Hialeah Miami Lakes. I mean, that's a deeper story, but we're not going to go into that right now. You have to buy the book. And, you know, then after that, I kind of like lived here in Miami. I lived on South Beach during the time when they considered South Beach the Riviera of the U.S. And so you can only imagine it was very fabulous.
Love it.
And, you know, that was like, those were the years when like Madonna was doing photo shoots in the middle of Washington Avenue, you know. That's when Sylvester Stallone was dropping off models at the model restaurant, hotel, hostel on 9th Street and Collins Avenue, and like dropping them off at like 5:30 in the morning at daybreak and giving them a kiss, you know. That was like paparazzi central, and it was partying with, you know, Gloria Estefan and her husband. It was,
yes,
you know, partying.
So speaking of that, can we dive into that a little bit? You are now not only a chef, you know, an entrepreneur who's created different businesses, but you are now a DJ, right? You can add DJ to the resume.
Yeah.
Of Chef Josie.
I mean, I don't, you know, DJ is a loose term because I'm still even learning the craft and learning the art. I think a big, huge part of it is knowing music.
Yeah.
And like I was just kind of sharing with you, was like there was a time of my life that I lived on a dance floor. And it was the best time of my life. And in multiple cities all around the world. So this space to me that I'm a part of and kind of getting back into is it's a transformational kind of experience for me, because it's like coming back to a space where I was so free, you know? And I've never necessarily experienced that kind of freedom besides the kind of freedom that I find on a dance floor. And, you know, during COVID got crazy. So, you know, a lot of people were dealing with mental health, and a lot of us lost a lot of people we cared about, right?
Yeah.
And, wow, I'm going to bring myself to tears here. Okay. But, okay. Let's, a friend of mine, you know, dealt with depression and committed suicide during that time. And she is my friend, you know, she's a DJ, and not just a DJ, like, you know, top 100 Billboard DJ.
Oh, wow.
And so, and her and I, we, you know, whatever. She was like the older sister I didn't have, you know, the big sister I didn't have. And we were just like, they used to think about us as like the two gay girls who would be at the party like at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was like no other lesbians would hang out until 2 o'clock in the morning. Everyone goes to sleep, right? And so we were at all the fabulous parties in New York City dancing until the sun came up. And it was just like amazing. And it was our escape, and it was this friendship, right? Well, she passed away during COVID, and what she did, that experience, what that did was it like awakened a part of me that had been just napping, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it reminded me how important it is to be like living what you want to be really doing, right?
Absolutely.
And
fuck yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and you know, and no matter what, right? You know, no matter if it seems scary, and no matter if you don't really know how to do it.
It doesn't seem possible.
It doesn't seem possible, you know, it just, you know, the time doesn't seem right.
Right.
Whatever it is that you think is getting in the way of you doing that. So for me, you know, I was like making up all kinds of things. Like maybe I don't have enough time to do it. I definitely don't know how to DJ like everybody else right now. I mean, I know music, but it's like there's a lot more to this and whatever. But, you know, we used to play all the time. She had a studio down in her basement, and she was like, we were like killing it on the turntables. But all this new digital world is different, you know, it's like programming, and it's really cool. And the controllers are still a controller, but I mean, they have all these damn buttons, and you're like, what do all these buttons do? And these little knobs, and there's like all this stuff. Yeah. And so to me, it's also like a new skill that I get to learn. And I love the challenge. And I love music. So this little journey, Lady Snack Daddy, is dedicated in honor of my friend Liza Batico. You know, I have a little tattoo here. That is,
oh wow, very beautiful.
It's, you know, illuminating because it's like the disco ball kind of went to heaven, right?
Yeah.
And the chord spells out her name that, you know, that we used to call each other. She'd call me Pato, which means duck. You know, it's like a slang, very bad, like, way of saying, like, gay, you know? Yeah. It's basically a derogatory word. It's like faggot, right? And okay. But it's, that's how we would call each other, because we're like faggot, you know. And that was like a part of the culture in the New York club scene, and it was kind of an endearing term, not really a slanderous one. Right. But and then since she was a small faggot, you know, I used to call her Patico, like a little one, you know. And that's where it is. So this journey here is not only just my own, it was a reminder from a friend that life is now. And even though I practice that all the time, and I practice being in the presence and like, you know, going through this life and just allowing life to unravel as it will, and be with everything that shows up and use that as a way to grow. You know, it's a beautiful cycle, right? It's like life nurtures you if you allow it to nurture you.
Yes.
But if you resist it, right?
Yes.
Then that's where we start finding the struggles.
Absolutely, absolutely, I agree. I was recently listening to a audiobook. It's Earl Nightingale, the greatest or the strangest secret. And basically, one of the analogies in the book is that your mind is basically like the land, and what you plant in the land will grow. So if you plant, you know, positivity, believing in yourself, liking yourself, making an effort to do positive affirmations, you know, if you want to be a millionaire, you can be a millionaire. You know, like you can be anything you want to become if you choose to. Here's a prime example, you know, of somebody who, you know, grew up not knowing if she was going to become something and became so many great things. And I think that, you know, if you remind yourself that the mind is so powerful, we just choose to not utilize it for the right reasons, I think. And like it's taken me a lot of growth and maturity and aging, unfortunately, to get to this level of thinking. And I have to program myself to constantly think this way, because I could lose sight in reality. Like reality shows up, right? Shit happens. And at the end of the day, like it's our choice who we want to become. And if you have to practice being a good person, you have to practice kindness. Right. You have to practice, especially at the most difficult times. That's when you have to show up, when you have to do the right thing. And if you're able to do it, I think that's where you're able to develop self-esteem, self-worth, and then you have that confidence to do anything you want to do.
Yeah, you just highlighted a really important word that anyone, you know, for anyone who's watching, the most important word that I think you just said was practice. And it's like football teams, you know, or basketball teams, or whatever kind of team. Just think of team. And say you're winning, there's a game and you're playing this game, right? And this team is playing this game.
Yeah.
In order to be the team that wins the game, it's going to work through so many different other teams, right? So who's going to be the best team, and not from being better than each other, but who's going to be the best team? Like, because they put in the work, because they put like the practice in, you know, they did their dribbles, they did their
layups,
your drills.
Yes.
You know, you went and did your laps. I know I'm being very athletic here. If you can't,
we're
tell,
so lesbian. Right?
So okay. This is lesbianic. Okay.
I mean, it is LezPod.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I know. I just heard myself say that. I'm like, why can't I just get out of the athletics? No. Okay. It came out. I still have my card. You know, it's like when you think about that, the practice is what makes it like stick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And anything. So that's anything.
Anything. You got to put in the work to get the results that you want, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about Bubbles and Pearls. Tell us about your restaurant, you know, how you started it, what inspired you to start the restaurant, and then what got you through the process, because I'm sure it wasn't easy. Mm-hmm. I'm sure there were obstacles that got in the way of creating a business. So share that with us a little bit about, you know, the process.
Yeah. So, you know, Bubbles and Pearls is my first restaurant. It won't be the last. Yeah, I love it. Okay.
Don't get it.
Bam, bam. I don't know why though. You know, it's like, if you here's a warning to anyone who wants to get in the restaurant, don't. Okay, but you know, that being said, it takes a very special kind of person, a very special kind of people to want to be in this industry and actually succeed in it, right?
Yeah.
So hats off to everyone who's thriving in it right now, because I see you and I know how hard it is to get it done, right?
Yeah.
That being said, it's like, you know, you have a choice, right? And you know, look, I could be doing all kinds of things. I definitely don't need to be owning a restaurant right now, right? And who knows, you know, maybe those other things would make me happier than owning a restaurant, right? I don't know, but I'll tell you that owning a restaurant really like feeds a certain part of my soul, right? I mean, you know, cooking is how I basically establish myself. And that is a God-given gift. I knew how to cook before I went to culinary school. I went to culinary school. I learned technicalities. I then stepped into professional kitchens and worked with masters, and then I learned the like vision behind it. And I learned you know, technique, and I learned like just like concept, right? I started to look and observe like how the restaurant worked and the nuances of like every area of the space. And it just fascinated me, you know?
Yeah.
And so
what inspired you to open up shop?
Someone came to me who I knew from this leadership community, you know, that that I was a part of. Another fatal, you know, I guess you call it victim of COVID, but they had to close their doors. But anyways, a leadership program, right, called Gratitude, right? And we all met through that. And they reached out to me because they wanted to open up a donut shop. And I was like, girl, you're talking to the wrong girl, man. I don't wake up. Don't you got to wake up early to make donuts?
Yeah,
you know?
coffee.
Yeah. I was like, donuts? I mean, like, okay. You know, and it's also not necessarily in alignment with my eat well, live happy kind of philosophy of life,
Yeah,
right?
congratulations on the weight loss, by the way.
Thank you.
Tell the crowd how you've lost how much now?
40 pounds.
That's a big deal. That's
Yeah.
a big deal. That is a big deal. I'm very proud of you.
It's kind of ridiculous, but
It's inspiring. It's motivating.
yeah, you know, I want to be in the best shape of my life. I'm committed to being in the best shape of my life going into my my elder life, you know, whatever that looks like. And you know, I was in great shape when I was in my 20s, right? Well, like what happens in that middle time, you know? It's like, it's a lifestyle, guys.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's a lifestyle. And I really think that like it's not about weight. Because it's not, oh, I lost 40 pounds and oh my God, like that's so great. Okay, I feel better, that's me. But like there's no body shaming here that I'm speaking into. Like, you know, wherever you are and wherever you feel comfortable,
right,
and wherever you're healthy.
Yeah.
That's the conversation for me. Where are you healthy? Like I was like really kind of battling with heart, you know, high blood pressure.
Okay.
Maybe it's because of the industry, maybe it's because of the food, maybe it's because of what is it,
right,
you know? But I'll tell you, when you have 40 extra pounds on you, you're not helping your heart do its job, right?
Yeah, correct.
So there's no judgment there, you know? I'm not trying to be like, whatever.
No.
I'm just being like, okay, heart, I hear you, boo-boo.
Right.
Let me trim it down so that you can breathe, you know? And that's what I'm talking about. And so that's how I look at this, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So I'm super excited to actually lose the weight. And I want to get back to my football playing weight, right? Which is like 170, and I want to be like, boom.
Nice.
And you know why? Because I feel good like that, you know? And the life that I'm living, trust. Like, I need to be like, boom, 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 you know? And it's good. It's fun. It's exciting. I don't know. It gets me fired up, you know?
Yeah.
And I also know how to relax. So,
relaxing is, I mean, to me, I'm all about the hustle.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to relax because it's either if I relax, I'm like too relaxed and I'm not doing that much. If I'm hustling, then I'm go, 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 go. And I don't have time for the relax.
I'm going to send you a calendar and I'll send it to you and I'll walk you through it. But you're going to love this little new tool I'm going to show you, because it's going to show you like exactly where you're putting your time. And you know what? We get to relax, okay?
Yeah, we earn it. We do earn it.
We can just schedule that time in.
Right, absolutely.
And then when we schedule that time in, however level of relaxed you want to be relaxed.
True.
Okay,
True.
it's your time to have.
True.
So go and schedule some time for yourself.
Yes,
Okay, in
do
those
that.
busy schedules. But so back to Bubbles.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to open up a donut shop, and I was like, donuts? I don't think so. But they said, well, if you could make $1 million, making donuts, would you wake up in the morning and do that, and would you open a donut shop? I go, yeah, of course, I guess so. I don't know, still $1 million is definitely not my price, guys, okay?
Right.
I'm not telling you.
It's not that much nowadays, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, I'm not gonna turn it away, but that's why I was like, okay, maybe, let's look, because I know what $1 million could help build.
Right.
And not just for me, but for everyone in my life.
Yeah.
Because you know me, okay? When the water rises, not just my ship is rising. I'm bringing all the ships around me rising,
Yeah.
Because that's what it's about for me. It's about community. It's about investing back into the community. It's about nurturing each other. It's about, it's like gardens, right?
Yeah.
It's attending your garden.
That connection.
Yeah.
Creating that connection.
Putting down roots. Before, girl, I was not the person to put roots. I was traveling all over the place. I was bebopping all over the land, all over the globe.
Yes, I can relate to that.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there were no roots.
Right.
But what are you building there? Now, hey, listen, you could be that guy where you're casting the golden net all over the globe.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down with that. As long as I say that you'd have roots, you still need roots.
Correct. To grow.
Yeah.
In order to grow.
So I'm back home.
Yeah.
I got excited and inspired. I mean, $1 million wasn't the only thing that inspired me. Definitely donuts didn't inspire me. But I thought to create roots here in my hometown. I mean, Wilton Manors is not my hometown, but South Florida is. You get what I'm saying,
yeah,
right?
And Wilton Manors has become your now current home.
Yeah, and it's been my home for almost 7 years.
Amazing. Yeah.
And my wife, Marcy, Marcy, Marcy Miller, go to her page, Marcy Minks. She's an artist. She's freaking amazing.
She's awesome.
And she's beautiful, so
Yes.
go and say hi.
Yes.
That being said, what was I saying? Oh yeah, okay.
But you went home, you talked to Marcy.
Yeah, and Marcy really was like, she's the one who brought me to Wilton Manors. And so we ended up purchasing the space that her and I had our first date.
Oh, wow.
So that was Carol Moran and Nancy Godwin's, Godwin. I know you're gonna kill me. Godwin. Okay, don't kill me. Nancy's the best, guys. You guys don't even know. These two are amazing. But I'm gonna get into that right now. Okay. So Carol and Nancy, they were moving to New York City, right? And sometimes you just like she opened Blue Moon and had Blue Moon and 13 even and 13
Nice.
and all of those places, like she's B-Doc,
Yeah.
like those guys are B-Docs. They're big dykes on campus, guys, in case you don't know what that is, B-Doc, and they're the ones who've been holding it down and creating a space for like women in Wilton Manors,
Yeah.
them and another handful of other ladies, but they're the ones who like really like went boom, we're here,
Nice.
and have been supporting the ladies for such a long time. So their spot, apartment 9F, like that's where the ladies go, guys, okay? If they're not at my spot, they're at their spot, and for sure you gotta go and support apartment 9F. Come on, guys.
Yes, go support.
All the time. But so they owned 13 even, which was a little place Marcy and I had our first date. And it's really, really funny, but we have funny stories about that, but I know we have a limited amount of time,
So you bought that space?
yeah, so that's the space.
That's the space. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's fucking awesome. That's really cool. It's special.
Yeah,
Very special.
and that was our first date spot. And,
Wow.
And I'll tell you, Marcy said, so when we, finally were like, okay, yeah, and came to, we were like, okay, it's definitely happening. I was looking at the space, and I still didn't know what this space was going to be. Like, I didn't know whether it was going to be a donut shop, but I didn't think it could be. So I was like, this has to be a restaurant. So maybe the first one is not going to be a donut shop. We're just going to open a restaurant. Okay.
Right.
And, okay, if it's a restaurant, okay, I know, like, I want to do a certain amount of numbers. So can this space, execute?
Yeah.
Well, no, just execute it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In the current setup, like, can it execute those numbers?
Right. Makes sense.
So then I was like, okay, I think we have to remove some of the pressure from the kitchen and put a little pressure here. Like, we need a garbage area. That's what so you couldn't do everything in that little kitchen. It's, the dishwashing sink is in there, and there's like only like this much area to cook in,
Right.
So you could only do so much, right? Then, basically what ended up happening was, I started thinking, okay, well, how about some oysters? All right, and then, well, the automatic, for me, partner for oysters is champagne. And so I was like, oh, okay, champagne and oysters. Hell yeah, like my wife loves that. That's what I was really thinking, as I'm sitting in the space and just absorbing the energy and kind of feeling it out. I know it sounds really woo-woo, but that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, and breathing into the space and like...
Yeah, you're creating, your reality. And it's turned into something really beautiful.
Yeah, so then I went home and I said, okay, Marcy, we're going to do this. So what do you think about champagne and oysters? And I came up with a name. She was like, well, first off, I don't know about champagne and oysters. Well, I know about champagne, babe, but oysters?
Right.
And because she liked the champagne, she didn't really like the oysters, but I told her she's gonna love oysters. So,
Right.
and she worked at Rosie's, so that's another place here in
Yes.
Wilton Manors. Rosie's. She worked there for 9 years. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she knows a lot of people in the community. She's like the unofficial mayor of Wilton Manors,
Yes.
I think, because I'm like, not me. That was why she wanted me to come to Wilton Manors, actually, because she knew that I was on Top Chef, and I didn't know that she knew that because I wasn't like advertising.
Right.
And she wanted to take me to a place where she was more popular than me. And so I didn't even know that, my wife.
That's funny.
She's
Love
a
her.
thinker, that one.
She's awesome.
But she started asking all of her guests over at Rosie's, what do you guys think about oysters? And when everyone was like, ugh, I don't think oysters. And she was freaking out. She came home and she goes, babe, I don't know about this oyster idea. I think that it might not work. I really am a little worried about this oyster idea.
Yeah.
And I go, well, here's the name. Check it out. Bubbles and Pearls.
I love it.
And she goes, it sounds like a soap shop. And I'm like, wow, you're really not into my idea. Okay. And I was like, all right, whatever. And anyways, needless to say, here we are
6 years later. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Thanks.
So tell us, give us an average, day on the menu. So people kind of have some, that are in South Florida, please go check out Bubbles and Pearls.
Oh yeah,
what's on the menu? Share it with us.
So clearly, we're this menu is designed really to reflect the community and be a place where people can come and get quality ingredients. And my style of food really is not over the top in this concept, right? It's I want to bring real ingredients to the table.
Yeah.
I think that in South Florida, especially, now the culinary scene is definitely expanding and it's growing, and there's so many chefs down here who are so damn talented.
Yes.
And
so many.
it's just like shifting the culture around food in South Florida, so that we now expect quality ingredients as opposed to some of these when arugula doesn't taste like arugula, guys, you know what I mean? It's just like some green leaf on your plate. It's because that is probably not like, it's not organic. It's probably like some hydroponic, mass produced, like who freaking knows, it's not even arugula. It's just like green leaf. Okay, you can go into your yard and like cut some leaves off your tree, and that would have more flavor. Trust me.
So you know, have arugula on the menu?
Yeah, and we get our produce from a farm. So Marcy and I just bought the business from our partners right when COVID hit. And I know, it was a very challenging time for so many people, including us, right? However, even in that moment, and this is testament to just like, if you stay committed and your eyes stay open during those challenging times, and you stay committed and you stay focused, you'll see not only the opportunities that are in that rubble, and it's because you always hear about, and out of the ashes rise the phoenix, okay?
Right.
Well, the phoenix is like under the ashes with their eyes open, looking at the path. And you stay focused. You have to stay focused. And because we were committed to surviving, to thriving, because that's how we look at it, thriving. I don't want to survive anything. I want to thrive through it all,
Yeah.
But thriving through it, an opportunity opened up and we were able to purchase the business from our partners. So, a lot of new businesses around the country opened up, and entrepreneurs did what entrepreneurs do, and they evolved. They saw the needs, the voids in all of our community, and pivoted into those new businesses.
Right.
And this is, guys, the entrepreneurial spirit in this country is what will always, forever move us forward. And so I am out here supporting all the entrepreneurs, okay? Because go get it. It's damn scary. It's scary.
It's scary, but it's worth it.
It's worth it because we're shifting the planet while we're doing what we're doing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let me ask you one question before we finish off. What is the legacy that you'd like to leave behind?
That's sweet.
It's not an easy question, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind, the impact that you want to create?
So, I have a vision for the world, right? I'm a huge stand and supporter of a conscious, nurturing planet where love and creativity flow. And so being a stand for those things, being committed to those things, is about being a space to create acceptance in the world with our consciousness. Our minds are open. When we're conscious, the practice of mindfulness is available to you.
Yep.
When we're conscious, we recognize that choice is every single thing that we're doing is our choice. And that there's 100% accountability 100% of the time. In consciousness, we understand that like all living things matter, and it means each other. It means the animals. It means the plants and the planet. It means understanding that we're one huge ecosystem, right? So this level of consciousness is what I'm gonna stand for, and that when you're conscious comes the obvious call to nurturing.
Right.
And that's when you're nurturing each other, you're nurturing all living things, you're nurturing and living things include the plants, guys, okay, which are producing our oxygen and helping us to breathe clean air, okay, and feeding us, go plant life. Then
the vegans and vegetarians are loving you right now. They're just fucking.
My wife is vegan. I'm plant-based, but very more vegan than plant-based. Like really understanding that, and we're never in nurturing the young people that we have, even though like you and I are not parents, right? I don't know about you, but like I really care about the kids, and because I was a kid. And I remember some of those like scary moments as a kid.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And so there are kids out there, and us as a society, right? We get to recognize that there are children out there. They're not just because they're not our children, they are our children, because those children grow up to be adults. And those children grow up to be adults, and they either are loved and nurtured and see and understand how to be with other human beings, or they grow up and they're filled with pain and they have challenges, and there's, or they grow up lost, or they grow up a lot of different things, Sorry.
You're fine.
But I really, really have a thing for supporting kids. And
what's
young
a
people.
challenge that you went through as a kid?
Like I come from a broken home, right? And that means like,
What does that mean? Because a broken home can be interpreted many different ways.
yeah, so my parents got divorced, and like right when we were about I was like 9, 10 years old. So like right there in that time when you're like, oh, just in your stride and everything seems okay, but clearly up to that point it wasn't okay. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of fighting and things and bonfires in our driveway and like shit going down, you know what I mean? And so how many other kids grew up with that? And I always am so grateful to all the people in my life up to this point who have just been there, like, and that's what I teach. Like I mentor young people, like I mentor foster kids, who are about to age out of the foster care system.
Wow.
And guys, we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, we do.
We have a lot of work to do, and we have a lot of work to do because, like I said, these young people, they're going to become adults, and then they're going to be a contribution, whatever contribution they are, they're going to be some sort of contribution. So what are we going to help them be a contribution of?
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
2 or 4, right? And so, and then, loving and creative world. I mean, come on. I know you go around giving free hugs to everybody,
Yes.
and it is like, if we could just just continue loving. And even when you're bad, okay? Because guys,
That's when you have to be the kindest.
trust me, I get pissed, okay?
We all do. Fuck yeah.
And I have a workshop that I'll tell you all about, but not right now. But it's called Cut the Bullshit. And I really
Nice.
invite people into a space of anger. Okay.
That's cool.
Because I think that, folks are bottling up anger like it's this like shameful, emotional expression, right?
Right. When we all experience it, something to be ashamed of.
Yeah. And
We all go through it. We're human beings.
yeah, and the goal here is like, just to make sure there's a scale, right?
Yeah.
Of anger. Like, are you gonna become psychotic and like go and like take, let's not joke about that, but like, are you gonna go and harm someone? You get what I'm saying? Or are you angry and you need to like yell at the top of your lungs, and you need to like beat a pillow, and you need to go and like work out harder, and you need to, and maybe sometimes when you have anger, you're like turning to other things to numb you out, right?
Yeah, drugs and alcohol.
Drugs and alcohol, and that doesn't really support you in having a life that's not very conscious if you're just going to like fall into that.
Yeah.
Because we're not victims.
No.
We're not victims.
Unless you choose to be. It's
And-
a choice.
And I know it's tough, so I'm not going to go down that
Right.
right.
But yeah,
but I know it's tough, and then creative. A lot of folks think that they're not so creative.
Right? Yes. Someone just said that the other day to me.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And they go like this.
that's
They go, oh no, I'm not the creative type.
But
Oh,
we
no.
all can create.
Right. He's like, oh, you're the creative type. Oh no, I just like to do numbers, or I do this, or I do that, or I do this. Guys, you're gonna have to learn about creativity. If you're one of those people right now who are listening and don't know about creativity and think you're not creative, you better open up your eyes right now and start thinking about creativity. And I'm gonna invite you into a space right here and tell you about, like, if you're in a relationship, to have your relationship be a lifelong lasting relationship, trust me, you better know how to be creative, okay?
Yeah.
All right?
Woo! I believe it.
Okay, if you're single out there, and just listen to this, if you're single out there and like you've been single for 7 years, and you're like, what is going on? You better get creative, okay? And You know, if you're in your job and it seems really stale and man, all the new kids on the block are moving in and they're hiring and you're starting to sense that they might be starting to give you the boot, okay, you better start opening your mind and be open to being creative.
I love it.
And trust me, you are already creative, because even if you don't know it, if you're in your relationship, it's a long-lasting, lifelong relationship, you've been creative.
Yes.
Okay, if you're in your job right now and you watch that wave of young Gen Zers, hi Gen Zers, I love you guys, I promise, but you know what's going on, guys, okay? I'm just speaking the truth here, okay? But you see this wave of Gen Zers come in, right? And you're like, yeah, okay, well, they're cool, they got a lot of energy and they're smart, right? But senior, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go ahead and keep doing my thing and let me show these young guys how to do this, right? And you still have your job and now you're their boss. You don't even have to worry, you're not even competing with them anymore. Trust me, you're creative. So this is what I'm saying, okay? For everyone who's out there who says that they're not creative, trust me, you're creative already.
You are creative.
Anyway, I have another workshop for that too, but
well, thank you so much
love
for
you,
being
man.
on the show. I love you. Give me a hug.
I love you.
You're awesome.
Yeah, love you, man.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Peace out, everybody.
Yes, guys.
Woo!
Thank you.